Social innovation labs are a technique, a new promising practice in terms of bringing a group of people together to explore a complex problem. And so what's really interesting is that these students and parents and community members and critical friends are exploring a way of how do you actually develop a progressive high school. And I think what's really interesting about that is that it is a really complex problem. There's no simple answer, and it's something that we can do over time to test really well to make sure that we're getting it right.
We want to come up with some prototypes today. We want you to pitch some of your ideas. We want you to take your ideas from your interviews and start to build some spaces that say, these are the things our progressive high school would need to have, we need to pay attention to. So you're designers today.
A big theme of our interviews was that what they learned in high school did not match what happened in the real world. They felt that they didn't have enough real opportunities for failure where they learned quite a bit from it. And some of the places that they did were not in places that you expected. So one person who became a doctor learned the most about failure in a ceramics class.
Our most popular one was Everyone's Voices, and it's a hot topic and a motivation because everyone wants their own voice. No one system will fit everyone, meshing systems together, which is kind of connected as well.
The core need that I saw that really came through was a trust, not like a trust that is really all-encompassing. So between the teacher and the student, that goes both ways. The student trusts the teacher to help them in their path and be supportive rather than condemning, and really try and help them flourish into what they would aspire to become. And the teacher trusts the student to actually commit and have passion and work ethic to continue their education route.
Just the fact that we're having these social innovation labs is already a huge step in a very right direction. Like, we all get together and we start innovating and talking about all these new ideas and how to enforce them. And that also goes into how we're gonna take that action and to step forward onto this new path that we're kind of trailblazing ourselves, which is kind of exciting but kind of scary.
The students already have such a natural way of understanding complexity, and they have such a beautiful way of kind of taking up this challenge and coming up with interesting ideas. They're really natural at bringing divergent things together and coming up with exciting new insights that we might not have thought of. And so I think what's been interesting is the adults really need to have taken a step back to really let these promising practices in. So having students here is really important. We're going to develop some how might we questions. What is our program actually going to look like? What are we solving for? What are those challenges and needs that we're solving for? And what are we actually going to start creating and designing together?
Our how might we is to create a comfortable, practical learning environment that will kind of absorb all of the courses people choose to take individually, that gives them the freedom. So we're trying to make a space that's really works for everybody.
I like the idea of bringing mentors in from different places, that they don't necessarily have to be in our school or a teacher, that it can be someone from someplace else that can contribute.
So the core concept of what we're thinking of, increasing love and reducing fear in the school system,
which will focus a lot more on student voice and the democracy and getting the students involved and leading their own learning in that way.
I really like that you've really gone down to a deep root. You've looked at the underlying pillar. We need to remove fear if we're going to create the kind of space or the kind of school environment that we're all talking about.
Well, I think it is about bringing all the stakeholders together and starting to discuss a big idea, like what will a progressive high school look like, so that everyone feels like they're co-creating something. And it needs support to change things in education and to help people see a different mindset. We need support to come in as far as resources, the space has to change, maybe the time schedule changes, and the discussions around education and its assessment needs to change.
So we know that students are the catalyst to change. That's what disrupts things for us. It's what brings new ideas in. And it's not that they have all the answers. They are the people that are going to be actually experiencing the system. So we need to be doing this with them. And it's not like they're the only experts that we pay attention to. We have brilliant staff that have a wealth of knowledge that they bring to the table. Parents that can share with us what they want as their hopes and dreams for their kids. Critical friends that really have got such interesting questions that they can ask of us. So students are a completely important component, but so are all the other players, and we need to really remember that.
Yeah, I think that the tensions that end up emerging are that some aspects of programs are already heavily invested in. So we're not saying in social innovation labs that we scrap everything, that we scrap the old and in with the new, and that everything old is bad and everything new is good. We're not saying that. We're actually saying that you need a mix of old and new and some surprise.
By the time we're finished all the exercises, it's very direct. It's not up in the air or still a conversation. It takes it out of the planning stage and into a process, which won't really end, but it has direction.
This will now be up to this group to make sure that the next steps move forward so we can make great things happen.
I'm taking away excitement over the type of prototypes and the incredibly creative thinking that has gone into the lab so far, and some insights from the things that have worked and the things that we're going to continue to test.
I'm leaving here with a hopeful excitement and anticipation about the evolution of school as we know it.